dictate than it takes to write something by hand or type it personally. A dictating machine also saves the time of the person who's going to type it for you. It is usually much easier to transcribe from a tape than to interpret a person's handwriting. When using a dictating machine, there are 3 keys to ensure maximum efficiency. First, write an outline of what you're going to dictate. Jot down the major headings and subheadings before you begin. Think through the sentence structure in your mind before you begin dictating into the tape. Don't be afraid to go back, erase, and do it over again using a better choice of words. Second, don't try to be a perfectionist. Sometimes your natural conversational voice is the best and most correct grammatically. You can always go back and correct the major mistakes later. It's much easier to edit something that has been transcribed than to write it or dictate it perfectly in the first place. Third, concentrate on getting your thoughts dictated as quickly as possible, and then go back and clean it up before you finalize it. In no time at all, you will be dictating perfectly correct letters and reports that need little or no correction or editing at all. Number 7, make air travel productive. A key area where personal organization is important is travel, especially air travel. Some years ago, Hughes Air West, a regional airline that once served the western U.S., hired a consulting firm to compare the efficiency of flying first class with flying economy class and with working in a normal office. What they found was that 1 hour of uninterrupted work time in an airplane yielded the equivalent of 3 hours of work in a normal work environment. The key word was uninterrupted. If you plan ahead and organize your work before you leave for the airport, you can accomplish an enormous amount while you are in the air. Since so many people are traveling by air for business today, it's essential that you know how to make every hour of traveling time count for yourself and for your company. The starting point of getting the most out of air travel time is to pre-book a non-bulkhead window seat. The reason you want a non-bulkhead window seat is so that you have a tray that opens up in front of you that you can work on. You also want to keep your briefcase handy during takeoff and landing, and with a bulkhead seat this is not possible. When you travel, your briefcase becomes your traveling office. A window seat will allow you to get out your materials and go to work without the interruption of someone who wants to get past you to go to the washroom. Be sure to specify to your travel agent that you do not want a seat opposite the kitchen or the bathroom on an airplane. These seats are too noisy and distracting for concentrated effort. When you pack your work for a trip, organize it by subject. Sit down at your desk before you leave and go through what you are going to get accomplished while you are in the air. Before you depart, make sure that you have all materials, envelopes, stamps, and Federal Express envelopes on hand when you begin working. Your briefcase should be fully equipped with everything you require. You will be amazed at how much work you can produce on an airplane when you put your mind to it. Get there early. An important technique to get the most out of your traveling time is for you to arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before your departure. Most business flyers arrive today with only 60 minutes to catch the plane, even with increased security measures. Studies show that if you arrive at the airport at the last possible minute once the plane has taken off, it's much better for you to arrive at the airport relaxed, with plenty of time to spare. Then, as soon as you get on board, you can begin work and continue working away until the plane lands. Be sure to work steadily during the flight. Put your head down and concentrate without diversion or distraction. Resist the temptation to read newspapers or airline magazines. Some travelers carry a set of earphones they use to discourage conversation from the person in the next seat. One frequent flyer I know has a great answer if his seatmate wants to make conversation. When the person next to him asks what he does, he turns to her, smiles sweetly, and says, "I'm a fundraiser for a religious cult." This has never failed to terminate the conversation, and it leaves him free to work peacefully for the rest of the flight. Here is one final point on air travel. The very best time to do serious, concentrated work is on the outbound flight, when you are fresh. The best time to read books or magazines or relax and watch the movie is on the return flight. On the way back, you are usually tired and not as capable of doing productive work. Be sure to make that outbound flight count. Use every minute to get through work that you've been unable to catch up with in the office. Getting yourself organized is the starting point of peak performance. Careful planning and organization of your work before you begin will yield dramatic improvements in your productivity, your performance, and your results. You cannot be too well organized if you want to get the most done in the time you have. It is a key to time power. George Patton said, "You must be single-minded. Drive for the one thing on which you have decided." Now here are 7 action exercises that you can use to apply what you learned in this chapter. Number 1, resolve today to become one of the best organized people in your business. Repeat this affirmation: I am organized and efficient in everything I do, until this command is accepted by your subconscious mind. Number 2, write everything down before you begin. Always work from a list and add new items to the list before you start on them. Number 3, get a time planner of some kind, whichever format you are most comfortable using, and invest the time necessary to learn how to use it. The payoff in saved time and increased productivity will be enormous. Number 4, clean up your desk or workspace and keep it clean. Discipline yourself to be a role model for others who want to know how a top-performing person works. Number 5, gather everything you need before you start working and have only one major task in front of you at a time. Number 6, handle each piece of paper only once and take some action on each item when you pick it up. Whenever possible, delegate it, defer it, throw it away, or handle it immediately. And number 7, make every minute count, especially when you travel by air. By organizing properly, you can get a full day's work done on a single flight.